welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, a podcast about living the life you want and living a life you love. And today I have a friend of mine called Rob Cook. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how you doing, Jazzy?
I'm good. I'm good. Rob is a fellow super coach of mine. I know that you guys who are listening know that I invite my super coach friends. And so Rob was there with me during this fantastic journey that we had. And we obviously became friends.
Absolutely. Once I saw how creative your ass was, I was like, I gotta know her. I need to know her.
So, Rob, tell them a little bit, what kind of coach you are, just so people know who you
Ooh,
are.
dude, talk about put on the spot. I thought you was gonna read something about me, but let's
Yeah,
go.
so sorry.
I'm Rob. I write or I say that I am a mindset coach,
Mm,
and I mainly talk about health. And I talk about it from prioritizing self care to just moving often, eating balanced, sleeping well, and then laughing a lot. Right?
yes.
Like those are if I would say my hodgepodge of things I want to do every day, or make sure that I focus on, it would be that. And I just help people see that. For me, in respects to dream it, do it, dare it, that's what I found that gets me through that process.
Mm,
Making sure I take care of myself properly, prioritizing that time to sit still for a moment,
mm,
even when everything is in chaos. You know, to make sure I do move. So that's probably the easiest way I would explain myself. I was in the U.S. military for 21 years
mm,
as a protection agent, so I protected people, places, and things. A noun, as Jason says.
mm,
Jason Devin, one of our friends, but coolest coolest place I've ever protected was the largest airfield in Iraq. That we had humanitarian efforts for all of that part of the world. I had 75 people, and we protected that airfield and trauma hospital there in a part of Iraq. Coolest place? Nuclear weapon was cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Nuclear
mm,
weapon. Seeing a nuclear weapon was cool. I think the coolest person. So many great people, but Admiral William McCraven. He was the commander from Operation Neptune Spear, the killing of Osama bin Laden. He was pretty cool because strategically he was a genius as far as military leaders go. But we used to go play basketball, like me and
mm.
him 1-on-1, or we would set up. He would tell me to set up a unit football game so that we could just play flag football. I think that was probably like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Mm.
Somebody who could be on Capitol Hill that morning testifying before Congress, and that afternoon or later that night we're shooting basketballs at a gym. Like what? Like
Mm.
his ability to handle things or just do them was unbelievable. So yeah, it was. I was kind of like the bulk of who I've been. I'm a father, of many. No, not many, but uh,
Well,
two. No, I have two kids, but I
oh,
mean,
okay.
I have a lot of young trainers and young friends who have young kids who ask me for advice, and I talk to them as a father. So that's why I say father to many. But I have
Okay.
two daughters, two grandsons, and that's about me, man. I live here and love life with Lori here in Los Angeles, and we got three dogs.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, what
yes,
about the puppies? What
I
about the
have
fur babies?
I have three dogs. I have two English bulldogs, Hazelnut and Mocha Bean. They're about 60 and 68 pounds. Both rescues. One was rescued from a breed farm. One was an owner surrender. And then my new one, Coco. Coco was a rescue. Probably the in the worst shape, the one we grabbed. She was abused. They clipped her ears, assholes.
She's a
Um,
pit, isn't he?
she's a
Isn't she?
she's a yeah she's an
Yeah,
American
yeah,
Stafford. Yeah,
yeah.
technically there is no such thing as a pit bull breed. That's
Okay.
a slang term we use to describe the Staffords. Um, and it's the one that it's that stigma that has people so
Yeah.
scared of them. They
Yeah.
they actually can't. The American staffers' jaws don't lock. Like that's not true,
Mm.
right? So it's why they have a bad rap, why they're banned from so many places.
Yeah.
And it was like she was like 3 hours from euthanization.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and speak of dream it, dare it, do it. The rescue who found her, right? 3 hours from euthanization, she decided to just call out, and she got on her social media platforms and screamed out to everybody she knew to just get that to stop, and she'll figure out the next step. So she got him to stop. They couldn't do surgeries on the baby because her I call her the baby. Her name is Coco, even though
Mhm.
she's the oldest of all of them.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do something around her stomach because she just had so much scar tissue from home C-sections, not
Wow.
proper veterinarian C-sections. But they finally got her in good shape, was able to get her down, and she stayed with the foster family for a while to make sure she could integrate. And we got her not too long ago. And man, she's probably one of the sweetest,
I
sweetest.
remember when you got her.
Yeah,
That was when we were doing Find Comfort in the
fun.
Uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we were just starting their pack walks and stuff, but now, man, they're fine. They're in there rolling all over each other before I
She's
came out here.
so grateful. I'm assuming she's like, yeah, because I've never rescued personally. They always just showed up in my life. Like I guess it was that kind of rescue, but they kind of showed up in my life. Like her, she was my mother's dog. So my mom passed away and I was taking care of my mom. So, and the dog was always with my mom. So when I lost
Mm,
mom, I wasn't losing the dog. I
the
kept the
dog. I have a
dog.
friend like that. I have a friend like that who when her mom passed from cancer, she had a dog, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The cat is the same thing. The cat, I was working in an office and they had a warehouse and there was rodents in the warehouse. And so they found two cats on the internet and they took the cats and they put them in the warehouse
just to get
so
them
that
off the
they would
mat.
hunt the rodents,
Yeah.
right? But the cats were like, nah, we ain't staying in the warehouse. So they would climb inside the ceiling and go into the office
Oh wow.
where it was warm, right?
Uh,
Obviously. So they
I mean, they were working all night. Why didn't they get the good office? That ain't right. You brought me here to hunt.
yeah.
Give me at least a good office, man. Come on.
And I had a contractor. I was helping them with their accounting system. And when the cats came in, the guy went to get them and he put them in the cardboard box. Now if you knew me, putting a cat in the cardboard box is not, this is unacceptable to me.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that? What is just like put them in there and put the top on it, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
as a
Like
place to?
put them in
Okay,
a,
okay,
yeah, yeah. No, no, you don't put a cat in a box. Like you
okay.
get you get a nice crate where there's holes and he can see where it's going on.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's what you
gotcha.
got to do.
Right.
Anyways, so as he comes in, I hear the cats howling and I'm like, my heart breaks and I'm like, no, what are you doing? So I open the box and as I open the box, my cat is there and he's
Yeah.
looking at me
Who's
like
right here,
this.
right now? Yeah.
He's here now. It's been 8 years, but back then I didn't want to have a cat. Right. So now he's in the box and he's looking at me and I open the box and I'm like, poor baby. And he just looks at me and he goes, wow. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be my cat. I don't want a cat. I don't want a cat. I don't want a cat. And I avoided the cat for weeks after.
That is
And
hilarious.
during
Why didn't you want a cat? What was what?
because I had just lost my 18-year-old cat and I just didn't want another one.
Ah, okay.
And so during the Christmas holiday, everybody was gone and it was time for me to work hard to prepare the accounting system while nobody's in the system, right? So while I'm there, where are the cats? The cats are around me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like petting the cats and I'm spending time with the cats while I'm working there for a whole week. And I come back after the holidays and my cat is in the window and he's licking himself or whatever. And I walk in and I know he's in the window and I'm like, I'm not gonna look at him. I am not looking at the cat. So I sit down with the owner and I'm like the cat's there and I'm like looking at her like this. No, I'm not gonna look at the cat. But the cat sees me, walks on the desk, and he put his face in my face, rolls down on his back, turning like a crazy person, purring his brains out. The owner's going, what's going on with the cat? She was like freaking
It
out.
was. I knew it was then. Yeah, you knew it then.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I knew it. I knew it. And
Uh,
I think an hour after she said, listen, do you want to take him? Because I can't have the two cats in the office,
hmm,
because they were both in the office now. She's like, I can't
yeah.
have two cats in the office. So I said, of course, I'm going to take him.
You want to know what's funny?
What?
Is in 2018 when I did Super Coach.
Yeah.
When I did the intensive with Michael for Super Coach, I
Yeah.
couldn't stand dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Would never had a dog. Would never
And
had
now
a
he
dog.
has three.
Listen, here's the funny part. Not too long ago, I was at Michael's and Michael has two dogs. Two,
Yeah.
I don't know their breed, but the big dogs. You see them on all the things,
Yeah.
right?
I
Pepper and
think they're
Lily.
golden doodles or something like
Yeah,
that.
but Pepper and Lily.
Yeah.
When I first started going to Michael's house, I really would just like, dude, can we move her over? Like, or move her, like please. Or if jump up on the couch and I'm there, I would freak out.
Yeah.
So I was over there not too long ago, and they were both on the couch, and I'm just playing with them, and he's just laughing because
Yeah.
he remembered how I wouldn't say terrified, but terrified of dogs I was. And then when I got Hazel, it kind of just melted. Then it just now it's over. Like I'll stop somebody if I see their dog cute. Like, oh my God, can I pet your dog? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's just a
know.
whole difference now.
I have two friends. Okay, so people who are listening to the podcast, we obviously are animal lovers. We're gonna get to the core
Yes.
of the content, but I have to say this. So I've been an animal lover all my life. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a household with two brothers, and I had one brother that animals. He was like growing up. He was like
Yeah.
didn't care about our pets, and we had pets. I mean, at one point, Rob, we had four cats, two rabbits, eight dogs. This
Mm.
is
Yeah.
how many pets we had. And he
Yeah.
used to taunt the rabbits, I remember. And in I think I mean he got a kid, right? He had his first daughter, and first and only daughter, and she wanted a dog, and he finally got a dog, and he loved that dog. I mean, the
Mm.
sounds coming out of my brother's voice was like, you're such a good dog, you're such a good dog, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, who the hell are you?
Oh, that's my mom now.
Yeah.
That's my mom. My family's like, hey, that Rob is different about his dogs. Because I was showing my niece every day. She when I talk to her, she goes, "Can I see the dogs?" And so they were at a family event the other day, and there was a few people around, but it was my mom, one of my nieces who had just seen the dogs for the first time. This was her first time, but my mom, my brother, and all them knows these are my dogs. She goes, "Oh my God, Uncle Robert, I want one." And before I knew it, I was like, "Babe, I can help you get a dog, but these is my damn dog. You're not getting one of these. Like these dogs, I'm sorry."
You
My
don't have enough
mom
money for
laughed so
these dogs.
hard. Yeah, my mom laughed so hard. She said, "Babe, don't mess with your uncle, and he loved them dogs. Like just let him be.
Yeah.
Just don't." Like it was so funny. My mom was like, don't talk about him." Because she like to fat shame my dogs because they all big. And I'm like, "Mama, don't do that," you know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's my mother used to say, you know, like when you there's a part of yourself that's not open until you've loved a pet. Like
Well,
it's a new access.
I could understand what she's saying because I think for me it extended my ability to understand humanity.
Mm,
It because I here I am caring for another species, not even the same species as me,
hmm
expressing love, and so I'm not even sure if they understand it to the extent I'm trying to express it. Right? Like I am projecting onto them such joy, such love, such they don't get any of the bad, at least from me, you know.
Yeah.
So I just wonder what their world feels like, or like, oh my God, here they come again to hug me. Like it's got to be the best thing for certain dogs. It's like, oh my God, they're about to give me a treat again. But it did. I do understand what your mom says because when I did get dogs, it did open me up. I felt a little bit more settled. I think it's in *Sapiens*, the book *Sapiens*, where they talk about what the domestication of dogs did for the human race,
Mm.
like how that propelled us or helped us in our so-called jump to the top of the food chain. That and fire, I believe, is what they were talking about, being able to contain fire or make tools. I think it was, but yeah, I really can understand what your mom means when she says that. Like they just do something. They just settle the tone. Unless you're terrified of them, you
Yeah.
know.
I have a
Uh,
girlfriend who's terrified of them, and she's gonna be listening to this, and she's gonna know who I'm talking about. And
yeah.
I know there's like so much love in her,
hmm
and I mean, if she only knew, like, and it's
Yeah.
just, and it's funny, like it's very. This is how I feel. I may be wrong, but I feel like it's really a thought barrier. It's like,
Absolutely. For me,
you
it
know,
was.
yeah,
For me, it was. It was the little dog that chased me home when I was a kid, right? That I couldn't outrun. That would really get close to me and scare the shit out of me, right? But the only time, this is funny, why I blamed it on the dog.
yeah.
The only time that the dog could catch me was when I had to bring all my books home from school, right? Because my backpack was so heavy. That's the
Mm.
only time he could catch me. The only time I ever had to bring my backpack from school was when I did what I was supposed to at school. Right? So, so the dog kind of couldn't catch me if I had did what I was supposed to do in the first place at school and not need to carry all my books home because I could outrun it if I didn't have any books. Right? And I didn't learn that till way late in life, but it was just funny, a humorous thing for me to go, oh, so if I would have did what I was supposed to, I never would have had to bring all my books, and I would not have had that bad stink on the dog. It was like I wanted to put it on the dog, but it was still me all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my thoughts about it. I didn't want a dog because of that. I thought they were mean. I thought they all wanted to. I bought into, like I said about the pit bull thing,
Yeah.
and um and now, man, I love them.
Yeah.
Like, I did a event, a responsible event. You have to say it that way now, where people were social, and it was outside, but it was for a animal shelter,
Mm.
and we had one of the I guess they're called animal inspectors,
Okay.
come out and talk and tell them where they can send things, where we can offer, because with the pandemic and with wildfires in California and with everything upheaving, people were just dropping dogs off, and so it gave an opportunity to create some help for them. So yeah, it's totally opened me up. So I definitely won on your mom's side with that. You know,
Yeah. Well, um, let me ask you then. I'm gonna get into the thick of things.
oh,
Uh,
oh here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
So I'm going to ask you about dreaming. Being the theme of the podcast.
hmm
Like I was explaining to you a little earlier before this, we went on camera. Um, I kind of got what I meant by dream dare do, dream it
hmm
dare do it,
hmm
and it was kind of a thing where I wish everyone would just give themselves permission to dream.
hmm Yeah.
Um, I don't think that everybody does, and I love that we work with mind thought consciousness because we can see how we can actually aim for our dreams and actually you know create something else also.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that dream doesn't show up, we don't have to get disheartened and
Yeah.
we know that we can create other things. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm I'm wondering, what is your take on dreaming? Do you still dream? And well, have you noticed if you had stopped dreaming? And have you noticed if you are still dreaming now?
Dreaming now. Okay. Um, what's funny, what's funny is yes and no, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, in the nature of what you mean when you say dream, I do. And the nature of what you say when you say dream, I haven't as well, right? So, that in my life was what I called not believing anything was possible and now believing anything is possible.
Mm,
Okay. So it wasn't necessarily in my dreams that it came out. It was just I didn't think certain things were possible, period.
yeah.
Now, understanding what I understand about life, I think anything is possible. It may take me 50, 60, 70 years to get there if I stay on track for it. But if I continue to make the necessary steps toward it, I'm going to get there. What I would say, that is what I love about teaching mind thought consciousness, is that all of the practitioners that do it with different flavors, but we're all saying the same thing. Stop the limitations. Dream, dare, do means don't put any limitations on yourself. See it, go get it.
Yeah.
Right? Unlocking your health from the inside out is don't take yourself, like, unlock it, go get it. Creating the impossible with my, go get it. Like everybody is saying the same things just with their different flavor. That's what I love about it. But if you go over to other sectors, they're saying different things and it gets confusing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the way to get there, and you got to do it this way. And this person, and then this, and whoever has the biggest voice gets the most people to follow in that lane. What I love in this understanding is, yes, we all have the ability to dream and see big, and just because someone has been in the understanding of the mind thought consciousness longer doesn't mean that the person who just came in yesterday can't see something just as great. Like, that possibility right there just levels the playing field for me, and I love it. But yes, there was a time in my life where I didn't think everything was possible, and it sucked. So it
Mhm.
would be the equivalent of not dreaming, as you say, not seeing what could be possible. Um, Coming out of the military, I didn't understand how I would fit when I had been active duty longer than I had actually been a civilian. My social economic status was different. I grew up in the inner city in the projects around a lot of violence. And what happened?
There's a big truck. There's a
Oh,
big truck there. So I was like,
oh, okay.
okay, sorry.
No, I'm trained to see. I'm
Yeah.
trained to see that, and it's like that means something's wrong. I'm like, well, we're
Yeah.
going. Well, okay, got it. All right, back in. I got it.
Yeah.
No, but yes, I forgot what I was. That made me like, what's wrong, Jazz?
Well, okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna hop on that because
Got
you were
it.
talking about, seeing what's possible, and that's something also that is that's part of the dreaming, I guess. The because I'm sure you've seen this, you've encountered this through your clients and for yourself also, because I see it in myself a lot,
Hmm.
where we start looking at something and what we look at is what's impossible, what we create as impossible. Like
Gotcha.
we
Yeah.
kind of like we kind of think of something that would be cool, right? And then the next thought is, yeah, but I can't do that.
Hmm.
And then we focus on the, okay, well, if I can't do that, we don't even focus on what's possible, like, so
Oh yeah, it has to run through the filters. Yeah,
yeah.
it has to run through the filters. If I, especially when I live externally to internally. So when all of my decisions were made on what I saw outside of myself first, before I decided if about how it worked here. I made the decision based on what was out there. So if I never saw anybody do it, then that means it's not even, you can't do that.
Mm.
I haven't seen anybody
Interesting.
do it. I ain't never heard anybody do that. Oh, the first person you tell, right? Hey, especially as a young kid. Imagine as a young kid, and I want to say this as respectful as I can to the people who guided me as a youth. But I have three aunts. Three aunts. They're my dad's older sisters. Those are the only three women I can think of in my life that has never said no to anything I thought I could do.
Mm.
They're the only three. And I acknowledge it every time I see them. But there's been times I've talked as a kid about maybe wanting to do this and be like, oh, you can't do that. And it just goes. It shuts. And sometimes those people held big roles in my life. I looked up to them or whatever. And it shut it immediately.
Yeah.
My aunts would tell me stuff like, you're different. You don't have to listen to that. Your life is going to be different. They would say it when I was a kid, right? I would get, I would get in trouble a lot in school. I was a class clown. You probably could tell, right? I was a class clown. And it was crazy because my aunts could see all I wanted to do was get home before all the other grandkids and spend time with my grandmother. Like they knew I was just needing to be touched. Like I just wanted, and so they were the ones who kept telling me it's something else outside of there. Like you could do, like go, try it, see it. And after it didn't work out in the lanes that I thought I would only get out of my area from playing sports or some type of entertainer. That's what I thought my way was going to be. A doctor wasn't an option, right? Like lawyer wasn't an option. People from my neighborhood don't become doctors and lawyers. So I thought. And the military didn't seem like a fair option because my family had such a bad history from the effects that my grandfather, who was in the Korean War, had when he came back. So we call it PTSD now, but he was what they would consider to be shell shocked. He, fell into alcoholism, had a stroke based on it. A lot of just things that negatively affect the family when he came back. So the military was even looked at very, very negatively because this was the only example we had of what it does to a family. And those barriers made it hard to decide to get out. Like it made it very hard. And what happened was I went to an air show once, and I got a chance to sit in the driver's seat of a plane. They call it the pit, but I want to be respectful. I got a chance to sit in the driver's seat of the plane, and that's when I was like, okay, this guy says I can go into this place and I can fly planes. Now I didn't know if that was all true yet, but at least go to the place. So I never lost the whole dream. So when I initially went to the place, I thought, I mean, it was the Air Force. You only figure everybody in there flies planes. I didn't know. And I got in. And it opened up a whole new world.
Mm.
And then that world became one I didn't think things were possible anymore. And then that changed too. And then it was like, oh, no, it's never been that way. You've just had it all wrong along. Like it's never been that you can't. It's always been that anything was possible. You just didn't see it yet. It's never been that you couldn't drink to have this type of lifestyle or this quality of life. You just didn't know that was available to you. You didn't even know that was an option. And so that's what I think about when I hear the dream, dare, do. That's what I think about when I hear the Kadiwampu, like Christy, right? Yeah. Just unpredicting your journey and doing what the hell you want to do. Right? Well, not in that sense, but but you know what I mean? Just going with it, it's just, it's been cool to see. It's been cool to see. And the other piece of that about the anything possible that made it great was knowing that I wasn't broken.
Mm.
No matter what, no matter my state, I'm not broken. I'm not. This is how I was wholly made. So if I'm in a area where let's even take it. Let's say when I was drinking excessively, and people would say I was considered to have an alcohol problem, right? And I've been through substance abuse treatment for alcohol, and in the AA rooms and things like that. And I never forget being in there feeling like, fuck, like I am just the scum of the earth. It's almost like the ritual you have to read through it, that you're always going to be this way. Now again, for those who it helps, I'm so thankful for that. But for me, it just made me feel like crap coming out of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, and it made me kind of, it just, I don't know, it just felt like crap. It felt like I was always going to have this nag. But I remember realizing when a lot of the things that would come to my mind that would force me to drink to stop thinking about fell away, my drinking slowed and it stopped. And there is points in my life where I went 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years and not even drinking. Then it was like, oh, I don't have a drinking problem. What I have is a how to deal with my thoughts problem.
Yeah, you have a
Because
thinking problem.
what I'm doing, I'm drinking to stop the thinking.
Yeah.
So if I can figure out how to handle this, the drinking is just the tool I was using.
Yeah.
Like it could have been working 18, 19 hours days and getting so fatigued that when I drive home, I was unsafe to be on the road. Still a problem, but that's not a bad thing in society. But I'm just a danger driving under with 3 hours of sleep on 48, trying to work 2 days in a row, 3 hours sleep in between the 2 days and driving home an hour away. I'm just as dangerous as a drunk driver.
Mm.
I'm just as dangerous. But, again, that's
Yeah.
just my soapbox on it.
Yeah.
But it just really, really, really did something for me to believe that anything was possible once I knew I wasn't broken. This was just how my system was alerting me that something was wrong. You're angry, you're sad, you're mad. Pay attention. Something's wrong. You're not broken. I'm just letting you know this is here. Bling, 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 like
Yeah.
the alarm, the flare, so to speak.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend the other day, and like she was upset because she had so much thinking going on, and the thinking, needless to say, the thinking wasn't nice thinking.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah,
obviously thinking that was riling her up.
yeah.
And it came to me like the text that I texted her was something like, the thinking is not there to tell you that there's something wrong. The thinking is the feeling the feelings you're having is not because there's something wrong. It's because your thinking is off. That's the only flag that is.
Say that again. Say that again. One
Like
more time for me.
the feeling that you
Okay,
get
the feeling. Uh-huh.
is just a flag for you to say your thinking is off right now.
Gotcha. Tracking. Okay.
Right.
Tracking. Tracking.
Right. I actually got that from
Tracking's a
you.
military term. Tracking's a military term. That is why I was like, wait, I've heard. Okay,
Yeah, I got that from
that's
you.
why I was like, wait, that's okay. Good. All right. I know I'm not crazy then. Good. All
It reminded me I was actually channeling you on that day. So,
right.
but it's interesting to really see it. Like I'm right now, I'm in a good space.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I can see how I'm not my thinking, that the thinking shows up in my space.
Hmm.
Like I can see, oh, I can see this guy. I really want to tell him to go fly a kite. And
Hmm.
oh, this guy I like. Oh, this I don't like. This I like. This I despise. Like it just shows up in my space, and it's just like I get these huh, oh look, I just saw that one. Like
Hmm.
it's almost like, oh, there's a phone, oh, there's a pen, but it's thinking.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of cool to be able to see it like that, you
Yeah.
know so what I'm what I look for is like I try to look for not the content, not get stuck on the content
Mm-hmm.
of the thought, but just see, oh, that's thought, that's made up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not making me feel good right now. So why should I get stuck in it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so the thought came to me as you were speaking. So you said that you had your intensive with Michael in 2018.
2018. Yeah, he did
2018.
a brainchild. He live streamed in the next room. So all the coaches were in the next room, and me and him were in one room.
Okay.
And he live streamed for 3 days what we talked about into that next room with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before that,
Hmm.
did you know of the three principles before that?
No, I had no clue of it. No, I I think I had known Michael at that point about, I want to say, a couple months. I
Right.
read a book because what prompted it was seeing Creating the Impossible. So I had thumbed through that. Had no idea what the three principles were or anything. I just knew, but I was aware of what I thought the self-help world. So I kind of lumped them into that. Oh, he
Yeah.
has a way. He has a cool way of the Tony Robbins or the Simon. So I kind of at first grouped
Yeah,
that,
me
but
too.
I knew something was different though because I had the personal. I met him personally, like one to one. So I knew it was different than that, but at first I kind of thought it was in that same realm.
Yeah.
And that intensive was like, it's nothing like this. It's nothing like this. It's yeah, yeah.
What's the biggest seeing that you've had? What's the biggest insight that you've had? I know
Mm.
that you've had so many, of course, like because
Um,
once
I'm
we
not
start
broken.
talking there, you're
I'm
not
not
broken.
broken. I'm not broken. Anything possible is the biggest insights I've ever had because they allow me to shoot. Like I'll try it, you know, and I'm comfortable trying it and not liking it. I'm comfortable failing at it because that teaches me. I'm comfortable, very comfortable at successfully accomplishing it. Obviously, that was the easy ones, right? But I'm really just having fun with the experience. Um, for instance, yesterday, um, there's a house being built on my street, and the guy who owns the house had some type of beef or issue with the person who used to own the house. They used to be business partners. The house we bought, we're living in it.
Hmm.
And so he's been doing crazy, weird things that is making it difficult for you to get out the driveway or this or that. And yesterday, he literally just blocked the driveway with trees and stuff. And it's like, okay, dude, what the hell? I'll bite. Like, where are we going with this, right? And he comes up very aggressive. And I was like, okay, all right, well, here we go. I'm gonna meet you. All right, I'm gonna meet you. So I meet his aggression. And when I see I meet it, I start to close him down. And I'm like, I don't know what deal you had with the people before me, after me. I don't know people in the neighborhood yet. We just moved here. Leave us the fuck alone. And he kind of just was like, I said, that's all I want, man. Just leave me the fuck alone. And so I left there and I came on up in the driveway and I sat down. I got in my office and I was a wreck. Because I can't remember the last time I've been mean to somebody because that has been a conscious thing, right? And of course, I'm texting Lo like, I was mean. Like I shouldn't have been mean. I should go apologize. I shouldn't have been like I shouldn't have done that, right? And I'm
Yeah.
and I'm sitting in it. I'm sitting in it. All I've heard about this guy, all I've heard about this guy is he's just not caring. He's inconsiderate. I like all of the stuff about this, right? That's what obviously shocked me off.
Hmm.
But what I did was natural. It
Yes.
was natural. It was what I was feeling. After I settled down, I calmed down. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to change my clothes right quick, go down there, take all the branches myself, uncover the road, take all the trash, just move it. Like I'm not fit to argue with anybody anymore. I had settled back down. And by the time I got down driveway, it was all gone. He had moved it. And I couldn't understand why until late last night. And it made sense to me that when I believed he was inconsiderate, this and this and this and this, that we're in this argument, that that's why I ended that way and I met that aggression. But when I just told him I wanted us to communicate with each other and I don't care nothing about this and I'm not judging you for that and who gives, I don't know any of that. I think he settled down too. It's like, oh, and it wasn't about anything else other than let's just keep the driveway clear. It wasn't about what happened between you and your neighbor 5, 10 years ago. Like it's just about keeping the driveway clear now. Before, when I engaged it, it was way more than just keeping the driveway clear. It was, I don't want to be involved in this. I don't want that. Like, it was just so much crap on it.
Yeah.
But when it came down to just clearing the driveway, we both saw eye to eye on that. We both saw eye, and it was like, oh, stuff like that is possible. You can have a conflict, work through it, right? Like, you can have a conflict, work through it, and it works out. Like, that's possible. We were both different races. That's possible that you can have it with a different race and make it happen and work, right? So yeah, those are the biggest insights for me. Are just, I'm not broken. Anything is possible. So even if I feel the anger, right, I just got to be clear about it. I just got to know it's anger. I just got to know I'm doing it. And if I'm idiotic enough to make a decision while I'm angry, I got to know, I got to take that, because I know making decisions when I'm angry don't work out well for me. Don't turn out well for me.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be dumb enough to make it, then I got to be dumb enough to accept whatever comes with it. And that, again, because I'm not broken.
Yeah, but I think it's going to also, like, it's not like we deal with anger on a daily basis. I mean, some
True.
people
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. They do.
like I don't,
I'm glad I don't, but yes, they
yeah, like
do.
I don't want to be angry all the time. I mean, of course I
No.
do get angry, but I
Oh
don't
yeah. Yeah.
want to get angry. And I've known from a young age that I didn't want to deal with, okay, now I'm not going to talk right now because it's not going to be good.
Right.
So I'm just going to step away right now, and I'm happy that I have that, but it wasn't always like that. Like, there has been words that came out of my mouth where after that I was like, you, oh my god, what have I done? I kind of like, but the more that we practice it and we can identify it and we can go, okay, so I can either go meet him with my anger, and what's going to generate, it's going to generate more anger, right?
Yeah.
Because what you give out, you get back.
Mm.
So if somebody's coming to you and he's angry and you're like, hmm,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, but for me, it was understanding why I got angry.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah,
it was like the
yeah,
alarm said bing, bing, bing. So I know my smoke alarm's going off. I'm angry right
yeah,
now. When I looked for the fire, I did find fire. I found that I brought to the story what everybody had said about the type of character he has.
yeah.
That is
It
why.
wasn't
It,
even
it,
him.
it wasn't even
It had
exactly. That's what I
nothing to
mean.
do with it. Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I mean. So that was the clarity of, oh, okay. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, not mad at myself for being angry. I'm human. I'll get
yeah,
angry. Looking at the situation for the fire. The fire was I brought that story to this experience.
yeah,
Boom. That was it. Boom. It exploded. That's it.
yeah.
So now I know,
That's so
don't
great.
bring that story to the experience. I get something different.
Yeah. It's kind of like, that's basically, be in the present and look at what's there right now. Don't
Yeah.
come from,
Yeah.
that's something that I've started, that I do a lot now, is I don't listen to gossip. Like,
Yeah. Oh.
when I'm walking around here, this neighbor says something about that neighbor or this neighbor, and I'm like,
uh,
no, sorry, no need to listen
uh,
to that. I won't
uh,
listen.
no, it wasn't even that. It was just the
Yeah,
he
well,
was we had to go through the business dealings of them selling because they still owned it together. It was just different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I got it. I
But
got it.
whew. But yeah, so
Well,
those were the big ones for me.
yeah,
And they've been fun. They've been fun. They've opened the doors for everything else. And I think the other one would probably be prioritizing self-care, making sure when I am tired that I take the rest, no matter what I have on my calendar. When I am fatigued, that I rest. Um, even if I am in a pinch, that I still do the right things as it pertains to other parts that I believe collectively put me in the best position to perform. And that's about it, man.
Well, talk since we're like, believe it or not, it's like I think you're gonna have to come back in season 2, just so you know, because now it's like it's already been an hour.
All
And but tell people, tell people about unFit and how they can reach you.
right, got it. So unfit was a brainchild of mine after I realized a lot of the struggles, turmoil, obstacles in my life was my attempt to fit in a box somebody else had set up for me. So I love early in the conversation when you said, "Don't put a cat in the box,"
Mhm.
right? Like that was like, oh, really? That's why I was like, why? Like that's why I wanted to know about it because a slang term for another guy is a cat, right? So you'd be like, man, that's my cat. Oh, cat over there, dude, cat, right? So when you said a cat in the box, I literally saw that,
A
like, oh
man in a
wait,
box.
a man in a box, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be in a box, and so that is really what it was. But it was also realizing that those boxes were internally created.
Mm,
So what I wanted to do was unfit is just challenging the internal status quo to find a healthier way to live your life. Like just don't try to fit in any box unless it's the one internally you set for yourself. All right? It's challenging those models that you have to do it this way to get this result. All right? There is to me there is no such thing as a fixed way to get to happiness.
mm.
It's no one set way.
Yeah, find
There's
your
no
way.
set way. Yeah. Yeah. And I use the analogy a lot of a stadium. Man, if everybody had to go through one gate for us to get 100,000 people in there, we probably never start the game. But the fact that everybody can come in to where their transportation drops them off at, and they can enter the stadium at whatever level they're at, and we all get to see the game. Different views, different levels of consciousness from the thing, box seats for some. I get it. But we're all in there watching the same game, and we all got here a different way. So I don't believe there's a fixed way to happiness,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
that's what I talk about. That's what I try to wake people up to. Is just discovering your way, and let's go get it. If we get very clear on it, we can go get it, however necessary. And you can find me talking about that on my social media pages. I'm Rob Cook. IMROBCOOK. I'm Rob Cook. And you can go to umrobcook.com, subscribe to the Mind and Body Breakthrough Plan where I talk about this. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
You have an app too. They can download the
Yes,
app.
I do. I do have an app that you can get to. I haven't been talking about it a lot, just because it's on a it's on another platform that I'm in discussions with, but it's a great app. You can get your fitness online, and they'll come directly to your phone. You get to add things in there. We can communicate. And it's been a great tool. I have some people on it who love it, and it works. And that's for if you really just want to get the bigger biceps or really just hone in on the weight loss, or muscle gain, whichever one. But the coaching piece and the speaking piece is more surrounded by just waking you up overall to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the app is a lane that I really love, and it's a tool I use that gets to open the door for the conversation because I use fitness as a metaphor to really to describe a lot of things. Facing obstacles and fitness. To face an obstacle, you get stronger because muscles get stronger when they're under tension.
Mm.
It's a fitness principle. Um, So muscles get stronger when they regenerate. That's a fitness principle. That's a life principle too. So I really just use it as a metaphor because it allows me to describe it. Kind of like Sid Banks saying that really mind, thought, consciousness doesn't exist. It's just the words he used to describe it. That's kind of like it's just the words I use to describe it. But what I'm really talking about, man, is you waking up to how amazing you are.
Yeah.
The end.
Wow. Very cool. Well, listen, thank you so much for
Thank you for
being
having me.
being here with us. I'm sure that people are going to enjoy the listen. And I'm going to put the links in the description, people. So if you haven't had time to write it down, I'm going to put them in there. And so thank you very much. I'll see you at the next episode. And remember, dream it, dare it, do it.
Dream it, dare it, do it. Love it.
Bye, people.